everyone, my name is Marie Warner, and I am the president of Warner Professional Sales and also the CEO and founder of Boston Women Connect. And my experience of over two decades as a sales leader or an entrepreneur, as well as the founder of that community of women entrepreneurs, gives me a unique perspective on how you can combine networking and selling. And what I'd like to talk to you about in the next 10 minutes is connect to selling, how you can create sales opportunities at trade shows and conferences. Now this will apply to anyone in the B2B space, in a B2C space. If you are selling a service or a product, even if that service is yourself, you're a consultant, a coach, or you're a candidate trying to find a new job. So the first question you want to ask is, why do we need to do this? In this day and age, isn't everything hyper-digital? I'll tell you why. It's because they have shown that a referral met at a trade show or conference or at an event is 200% more likely to get you access to a senior buying executive in a company. Twice as likely as an email and a call, any combination of that. And if you can overcome what I consider the most difficult part of selling, that is getting contact to the buying influence, then you are much more likely to close that sale. And a referral at a conference or a trade show is what will bring that to you. A little technical difficulty here.
I'm so sorry.
So first let's do some level set and some common language on exactly what selling is. This is the consultative definition of selling. It's creating a vision, a mind picture of how what you offer can help your prospect to solve a problem or to achieve a goal. Let me give you an example using my business. Do the next slide. I'm Marie Warner, and I help B2B companies exceed their revenue goals by helping them hire the best sales talent and developing the entire sales team to top performance. Now, if I were at an event and just meeting somebody, that's all I would say. If they said, tell me more, I could tell them how I do it and what the results are, which is what you see in the next two. I do that by using the leading sales assessment test in the world, expert interviewing, and award-winning sales training, coaching, and sales enablement process. And as a result, 91% of the candidates I refer in are in the top performing tier of their organization in the first year, and these sales experiences that the companies have across the board are an uplift of at least 30% in revenue. So that's what I would say if somebody was really interested. I would cut it short. It's what I call your wardrobe. You have your basic black slacks and white shirt for your brief intro, and then you can expand when you get to it. Next, please. So next concept I want to talk to is alignment. And if you've ever been, who's ever been in an uncomfortable sales situation where somebody is trying to sell to you, and who hasn't had that experience? The reason that is because their journey, their seller's journey, is out of alignment with your buyer's journey. What you see on the left is a rudimentary seller's journey going from initial interest generation through development to finally proposal and commitment and negotiation. And on the right is your buyer's journey, aware of the need, researching alternatives. And one of my first and most important tips for trade show and conference selling is that you really aren't going to take anyone you meet beyond those first two phases. You're there to create awareness in what you have, generate interest, and get yourself known as an alternative if indeed they have the problem. If they don't have the problem, they could represent a partner to collaborate with or somebody to refer you into a company. Remember that 200% was not only people you met, but referrals from people you meet. So we should focus on that that has a number of implications on how you should prepare and what you should do before a trade show. Let's take a look at the next slide. That's the last slide.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, gosh.
So conference and trade show tips. Tailor and practice your introduction, that vision statement I said. If I'm at a trade show that has technology startups, my lead-in would say, I help you to be technology startups. If I was at an enterprise sales organization, I would switch it to enterprise sales. So tailor your intro truthfully to this audience that you have. Rather than, if you're at a trade show and you're exhibiting, rather than spending a ton of money on four-color brochures, prepare what I call a menu of goals. Menu of goals and problems that you solve for clients. So that when people come to visit, you say, these are the issues I solve for people. Do any of these resonate with you? And if they do, then you have an opportunity to go down and ask a few more qualifications and questions, understand who the person is, what their role is in the organization, and do take copious notes for follow-up in that conversation. You'll find it's much more effective than trying to do a demonstration with bits and bytes and flashing lights. Learn to understand what the goal is that people are visiting you. Maybe it's just to pick up a Hershey's Kiss and a Boston Red Sox beer cozy, in which case the conversation can be brief. Focus on people who can have that dialogue with. Introduce yourself to speakers before a talk. If you're at an event that has a speaker, you may actually want to target that person. After their talk, they're going to be swamped with people. So being sensitive to the fact that people may be centering, go up to a speaker. You will have researched that individual before, perhaps be able to refer to an article they wrote or something going on in their company. Refer to that. Say, I'm really looking forward to this call. I'd like to give you my card and connect later on. Make it brief, make it concise, but be sensitive. Many people are very at ease and love to talk before it. Others are trying to center themselves before they get on stage and be aware that you may be intruding and be prepared to back off. And finally, one of my favorites, there's many conferences that I don't actually go to. They have a high price tag with them. The thing to do there is to determine what are the post-conference watering holes that everybody's going to be hanging at, and mingle there and do some informal networking. You'll be surprised at the people that you could meet that are having a glass of wine or two after an event. Next slide. So finally, let's talk about follow-up tips. You've gone to the show, etc., and whether it's an event, terrific event or otherwise, it's going to be just a pleasant evening if you don't have plans to follow up. Exhibit.corp put out the astounding statistic. Even at trade shows where people are spending tens of thousands of dollars, only 70% of the people exhibiting do not follow up with the individuals out there. 70%. So you can distinguish yourself simply by following up with whoever visited you, whoever you met at that booth. When you follow up, make it personal. Those notes you took, mention something you had in a conversation, make it timely. I like to have posts within 48 hours. I sometimes will go to conferences, and before I get home, I'll have LinkedIn connection requests from people. I personally find that quickness a little creepy. So 24 to 48 hours. To be what I call a sophisticated fan. This is if you've approached somebody at the conference, etc., that has celebrity or authority. Refer to that, refer to how much you like their talk, and build that relationship. And then remember, you just met these people. The new definition of a New York second is the time it takes somebody to make a connection request to either try to sell to you or ask you for a favor. So realize that you have to build that relationship before you go for an ask. And practice good emails. Just because somebody gave you their card doesn't mean they gave you permission to opt into the newsletter. You can write one and say, if you'd like to receive more of this, please opt into my list. That's my recommendation. Those are our follow-up tips. Next slide, please. So that wraps it. We've talked about how you can be successful at trade shows and conferences, how you should prepare, both with your set of goals and your vision statement, how to engage when you're there, and the important follow-up step. So I hope you use all of these to connect to sell for yourself and your business. Thanks very much.